A lot of people criticize God or they doubt God because they feel like it doesn't make sense that God would exist and suffering would also exist. But it's interesting that the Bible in some ways is more honest than we are about the reality of suffering. It looks at it more clear-eyed and direct. But most of us, we don't know what to do with deep grief. We feel like we're supposed to be happy all the time. And so we take our pain and we suppress it and we hide it and deny it. Or we feel guilty. We don't know what to do. The fact that we're overwhelmed by our situations, we're like, there's something wrong with me. But I think what many of us need, especially in a time of crisis, is permission to be sad. It's okay. With the pandemic, there are so many things that we feel like are just outside of our control, that we can't handle, that we don't know what to do with. And most of us, we might not be consciously aware of the feelings that we're feeling, but as I talk with people more and more, I realize this person's dealing with deep sorrow. That person's wrestling with fear. This person's experiencing loss and grief. This person's just plain old tired. But many of us, instead of grappling with those emotions, we're translating them all into anger. Anger at somebody else. Anger at the people who are making you wear a mask. Anger at the people who aren't wearing their mask. Anger at the president. Anger at the governor. Anger at the left-wing media. Anger at the right-wing media. Anger at the churches that aren't open in person yet. Anger at the churches that are open in person. Anger at the school district. Anger at the employers. Anger at your parents and how they're behaving. Anger at your kids. Anger at your spouse. Anger at somebody. And why do we do this? Because anger feels stronger than sadness. The anger feels active, like we're doing something. And it feels good to do something when it feels like there's not much we can do about the situation. If you can find someone or something that you can blame, it starts to make sense out of it. Like that, yeah, that's the problem. I understand it. And you feel just a little bit more in control. But my question is this: what if the anger isn't actually helping you? What if what you really need is permission to be sad? So I just want to say to you, it is okay to acknowledge how hard this is. Even 5 months in, it is still so hard. It is okay to admit that you are afraid. It's okay to say, I've got a sense of loss. This is not how I wanted my year to be. It's okay to just be worn out. It's okay to be unsure of what to do and uncertain about your decisions. It is even okay to wonder why God is letting this happen. God can handle those questions. He can handle the tears. He can handle the grief and the crying out. He knows, he understands, he gets it. In a time of upheaval, you are allowed to be heartbroken.